dramatic reading of the Elvis Parsley story. A man meandered through a sea of people as he briskly made his way down the streets of Rouen Croix. It was an elaborate city constructed in the same shape of a corn dog. This corn dog was of course layered with mustard and other condiments in the form of the city's local lakes and rivers. It sure was a sight from the sky, sure to make any corn dog lover do somersaults. Unfortunately, this man was a vegetarian and despised the city for its shape and meat-loving citizens. He had intended on moving out of the vicinity for years, but had found that his mashed potato-style home was too comfortable to stray from. He'd only ever leave it if the small chance arose that he could nab a kidney bean-shaped condo over in Yezrej, which was highly unlikely. The only ones who were able to get their hands on such homes were the nomads of Elvis, who earned bags upon bags of noodles every day. With a sigh, the man pursued forth to his destination, the Flanagan General Hospital. The day before, he had taken a serious fall at work. While climbing the monkey bars on the playground, he'd fallen and gotten a boo-boo on his thumb. The poor thing was sore and purple, and it stung every time he tried to suck on it during nap time. The other accountants poked fun at him and called him names such as sore thumb or beet sucker. The ridicule had been overbearing, and as the man marched into the hospital, he was determined to get this fixed. No client would ever hire a sore thumb. His career counted on this. The duck behind the desk gingerly raised its bill above the top of the newspaper as he approached. The man couldn't help but admire the beautiful pattern on its feathers. Standing before it, he unconsciously let his head fall to the right, gazing in admiration at the beautiful creature. "Name?" squawked the bird for the 10th time, attempting to bring the man out of his daydream. It hadn't been the first time he'd been gawked at by a patient, but he still found it quite annoying. "What is your name, sir, and how can I help you?" The man shook himself awake as he stared at the agitated duck. How long had he been staring? Suddenly growing self-conscious, he began to run a pair of hands through his thick black hair, while checking his breaths with the other. His breath reeked of spice, and he found his hair stiff to the touch. This was not going to go very well. He was in no way giving his real name to the duck at the counter, as it stared impatiently back at him. He needed a false name, something classy, something cool, something Elvis. He blurted out with a failed attempt at a charming smile. Running a tongue across his teeth, he found a piece of parsley lodged in the front set. "Elvis Parsley." Raising a brow, the duck looked over at the so-called Elvis Parsley, bringing his name up on the files. After a few minutes of studying the results, the creature's bill fell open and his eyes grew wide. You're Elvis Parsley?" it croaked, looking as though it were about to faint. "Well, yes, that I am," the man announced, raising his head in complete confidence, and then his shoulders dropped a bit. "Why do you ask?" Yet before the duck could answer, a team of black-hooded spider monkeys descended from the ceiling, still ending in a circle around Elvis. Confused, he blinked rapidly, watching the show emerge as if it were an old-fashioned movie, although after a minute or so he quickly stopped, as he realized what a horrible idea that had been. The monkey sauntered closer and closer to him, all the while humming some strange tune. It reminded him of a lullaby that also played a particular special nap time. Beginning to sway, the man who called himself Elvis Parsley was drifting to sleep as the monkeys came closer and closer and closer. When he awoke, he found himself strapped to a leather chair in a dark room. Confused, he attempted to raise his hands to rub his eyes, but soon found they were attached to the leather seat. Looking up, a pair of silver eyes met his emerging from the shadows. "Welcome, Elvis Parsley." To be continued.